My name is Magnus Stenlund. I'm 24 years old. I'm from Jasper, Alberta, and I've been racing competitively for about 7 years, but I've really started to take the next step over the past 3 years. Yeah, I grew up, my dad used to do the 24 hours of adrenaline. It was always like mid-July, and it was like the highlight of my summer every year because I'd get to go to this 24-hour race. And he'd do it on a team, and so he'd take turns with his 4 teammates, and they'd all do a lap, and then it would cycle back through the first person. They'd all do a lap again for 24 hours. But I was really enthralled with the people that did it as soloists. So I grew up watching Corey Wallace as one person that I always admired. And then a couple of local heroes were Andrew Bovard was from Jasper as well. Ryan Gardner, who was actually the world champ for his age group at one point. Yeah, I remember growing up watching the race. I used to I'd be there to watch my dad, but then there'd be the solo area with the solo tents where Andrew and Ryan would be, and they'd let me sit in their tent while they came through and changed their bottles and got something to eat and went back out. I remember just being enthralled with these guys. And then I'd go to sleep at I'd stay up as late as I possibly could, 1 or 2 in the morning, and then I'd go to sleep and I'd wake back up and they'd still be riding, and I just couldn't wrap my head around it. And that did something for me. I don't know exactly what it was, but I knew I wanted to be like them. So that's why I started 24-hour racing. So Corey Wallace was hosting his race for the first time, the Canadian Rockies 24-hour race. And he invited me to go. He sold me on it in about 10 minutes. He just asked if I wanted to come and see what I had, see what I could do. So I went to the 24-hour race the first time. I just wanted to see if I could ride the whole 24 hours. It was nothing special. I was so unprepared. I just had water in my bottles. I was eating oatmeal in the pit and mashed potatoes at night. I had no idea what I was doing. And it rained the whole time not the whole time. It rained the first 6 hours that we raced, which just made the course disgusting. But I remember the night really vividly in my first 24-hour race. Something changed me in that night. It's the worst I've ever felt in my whole life. It just sucks from 1 in the morning until the sun comes up. I've been depressed, I've been heartbroken, I've broken bones, and nothing will ever compare to those 4 or 5 hours. But then the sun came up, and this was the really transformative bit where all of that went away. It's actually the best I've ever felt. And that was the hook for me. After that, I couldn't go back. I was hooked on 24-hour racing. So I finished that race. I rode the whole 24 hours. And yeah, my second time around went much smoother. I had my nutrition dialed. I was liquid diet the whole way. It was pretty smooth sailing until about 3 in the morning, and then it was an elastic snap. I couldn't keep pushing as hard as I was, and I had to let off the gas a little bit. And so I lost that race by about a lap and a half. The guy that won did a lap more than I did, faster than I did. And that was crushing. I trained so hard for that race, and I wanted to go and compete so bad, and to fall so far short was devastating. But yeah, I'm not one to stay down, so I started training again, and I wanted to go back in 2024. But I ended up crashing in training. I broke my wrist and my ribs and dislocated my shoulder. It was a bad crash. I almost didn't ride again after that. I thought long and hard about whether or not I wanted to keep going, and whether or not it was worth it. And I really had to battle back after that. The flashbacks from crashing and any time I got on my bike were overwhelming at times. I'll talk about the lead up to the race to start. So it was, like I said, it was a 9-month training program. A lot of trainer hours, a lot of spin bike hours, treadmill, weight room, all through the winter until the snow melted. And And then once the snow melted, my mom lives in Jasper, so I have a place to stay there. And any chance that I got, I would go to Jasper, and I'd ride up the mountains. I'd ride, up to Marmot Basin or up to the Tramway or Moline Lake, or on my mountain bike, I'd ride up the Palisades, or couldn't do Signal Mountain this year, but just any chance I got, I went to Jasper to just make the most of, getting some vertical training. And then in the city, long days, like 4 to 6 hour rides back to back sometimes. Riding in the night, that people underestimate the night and the darkness. So I wanted to make sure I was prepared for that. I trained probably 12 hours in the dark, maybe, well, no, that's an understatement. More than that, probably 20 hours in the dark as well, just to make sure that I had that down pat going into the race. And everything was clicking. Going into the race, 2 weeks out, I remember thinking I was feeling really good. I had everything dialed. Bike was working good. Body's working good. Nutrition is all dialed in. I'm with F2C, and the formula that I use works really well with my system. So everything was really, really dialed in about 2 weeks out. And then 1 week out is like the taper week, where you let all the training adaptations happen and you eat as much as you can and get as much rest as you can. And that week always messes with me. I struggle with it for some reason. I don't like that all of the work is done. I'd prefer if I could still keep training and getting better, but I also know that I need that week to recover and let everything happen. So that week was tough, if I'm honest. It was hard going into the race. And then getting to the race, there's all these logistics of what am I going to bring clothes wise, and I need to have a tent there, and my family's coming, and who's going to support me, and what am I going to eat the day before and the night before and the morning of and during the race, and getting all that stuff sorted and making sure that I bring everything, because if you forget something, the race is over before it starts. So the way that this race works, it starts at noon on Saturday and it goes till noon on Sunday, and it's a lapped race. It's a 13.5 kilometer lap with almost 400 meters of elevation gain each lap, and basically whoever does the most laps in the least amount of time wins. Rained on and off the morning of, and it was kind of raining a little bit at the beginning of the race. And it was a Le Mans start, which means that you basically run around the race center for 400 meters, I think it was, before you get on your bike and go and ride the course. First 4 hours or so are just kind of hanging on, trying not to fall too far behind. I don't know exactly what the gap was, but I think it was about half an hour back from the lead at 4 or 5 o'clock, which is when the leader started to slow down a little bit. And I had my pit crew, and they were keeping track of all the lap times. Mine were fairly consistent. His were starting to slow down. So from about 4 until 6 or 7 p.m., I was just trying to catch up to whoever was in the lead.
Okay, I'll let you know. Okay, good job, Max. 8 hours in. 8 hours in, 16 to go.
All right, I'll text it to you.
Good work.
And the first 6 hours, I remember I was not having the best time because the course was all slick, and I knew we were going to have to ride in this all night. It's going to be kind of gross. So if I'm honest, I was probably in a bad mood. I don't know if my pit crew thought I was the nicest person for the first 6 hours. I did my best not to be miserable, but I don't know if I wasn't the happiest person for the first 6 hours. But luckily, I had my pit crew, and they helped me work through it, and they just kept me going, didn't let me stop. And by the time the night fell, I was leading the category. So yeah, going into the night, that's a weird feeling, being in the lead with so much race to go, because there's still so much that can go wrong. At about midnight, I think I came back into the pit, and my bike was disgusting with all the mud. So my dad went to wash my bike. I put some eye drops in. I took a caffeine tablet to kind of raise my spirits a little bit going into the night, because I was starting to slip all over the place, and my nervous system was tired. I went back out. I did a couple more laps. I came back. I had another caffeine tablet, and I was feeling pretty good. Now we're at about 2 or 3 in the morning. And then out of nowhere, the guy who's in second place, who I thought I had put into the ground, passed me. And not like passed me like, you know, they kind of just snuck by. No, like passed me flying. And I had no answer. Like we were on the technical stuff, and I just couldn't keep up without risking my life. So I had to let him go. And I had just taken that caffeine tablet, and I was so happy before, and then I was like just this so flabbergasted. Like, what just happened? But yeah, I got passed. So I spent the rest of the lap trying to figure out how I was gonna reel him back in. But if I'm honest, I thought it was over. Just seeing how fast he was going, I didn't have an answer for him. But then I came back through the pit, and he was there. Like I caught him again, and the person who finished second, Nick Emsley is his name. He's just an absolute warrior, because like I came through and he looked like death. Like I remember looking in his pit, and he was like sitting, he's slouched over, he had a towel over his head, he's white as a ghost, and I thought he was just, I thought they were going to let him be done with the race and not put him back out. Somehow he was able to get back on his bike and go back out and pound out like a bunch more laps, but I didn't end up seeing him for the rest of the race. So yeah, after that point, the sun came up. And like I said, like after the first race, the sun coming up is a liberating experience. It's like, it's the most glorious, because you go from like absolute darkness, like real darkness, pitch black. There's nobody there. There's no town. There's nobody coming to save you or anything like that. It's dark. And then the sun comes back up, and it's a special feeling when the sun comes up. I was battling for like the first overall at that point. I was about 17 minutes back. And I remember coming into the pit at like 6 in the morning. My dad was telling me, the overall is probably out of reach. Like they're just a bit too much for you. And I don't know if it was on purpose or what, but like my dad knows me really well, and I think he knows that when people say something like that triggers something. I can't accept that somebody's better than me, or they're too much for me. So I was about 17 minutes back, and then I came through the next lap, and it was 13, and then the next one it was 8, and then the next one it was 4, and we had enough time for one more lap. And I absolutely laid it all out there on that lap. Like I gave it everything I had, up every hill, down every hill, taking more risks than I probably should have to catch the overall leader. And we came back in with about an hour and 10 minutes left, and they sent the overall leader back out. I thought, like, oh, right on. Like, you just won me the race, because I've been putting time in every single lap, and I can see him now. So what ended up happening, I went back out. I didn't want to, but I knew I kind of had to. So I went back out, and I rode half of the course, and I just laying it all out there. Still closing time, but then I came to like the halfway point of the course, and it was like an uphill switchback section, and then you end up on like this cross country ski track. I came out onto the ski track, and I went to shift down, and my legs just, I don't know how to explain it. Like they just wouldn't work. Like I couldn't move them anymore. Like they wouldn't pedal. It was weird. Yeah, and at that point I had to turn around and come back through the finish and come back through the short course. I couldn't finish that lap, so I didn't end up winning the overall, and I had to get pushed back into the pit, and I ended up I hope I didn't make too much of a scene, but I ended up kind of falling over at the finish line because my stepmom and brother were pushing me, and then I got to the finish, and again, like my legs weren't working, so I couldn't unclip out of my pedals. So I ended up kind of just toppling over, and people are coming over and asking me oh my God, are you okay? Can we do anything for you? And they ended up sitting me down on a bench. But yeah, I got asked at the finish line, how does it feel to finish on the podium? It wasn't about finishing on the podium. It was about going to the race and emptying the tank. Really pushing my limit and seeing what's in there and what I've got. That's what the race was about. It wasn't about finishing on the podium. And I'm really happy to say that I push closer to my limit than I ever have. But I'm also happy to say that there's still a bit more. There's still a bit more to be dug out of me. And I think that with hopefully World Championships, the 24-hour World Championships coming to Canmore in a couple of years, I hope that I'll be ready for that when they come. With my body, it's a recovery process. Like you go do a 24-hour race, it's not like you can go and ride again the next day or the next week, actually. Like the area of my body that touches the seat is not happy with me. It's all scabbed up and it's not ideal. I honestly still can't quite ride a bike. And I lost probably 12 pounds since the race. I'm a little bit weaker now. I'm trying to gain my strength back before I can go back to everyday living. It's been overwhelming, the amount of people that have been supportive of what I've wanted to do and what I'm trying to do, and told me that I can do it, and believed in me and supported me throughout the whole process. Like going into the race, the amount of people that helped me prepare, the guidance that I got, and staying with my mom. And I know I'm on a Mud, Sweat, and Gears set right now, but the Mud, Sweat, and Gears crew for like getting my bike ready before the season and getting my bike ready like on the fly just before the race, and like doing such a good job. Like it's tricky work, and I can't get my bike to work as well as they can. So that's one thing. Just basically everyone that has been supportive leading up to the race and believed in me and wanted to see me succeed at the race. At the forefront of that would absolutely be my family. Like I wouldn't be able to do any of this without them. My one person that stands out to me is my stepbrother. He has a cognitive disability, and so he's 17. He's at the cognitive capacity of about a 4 or 5 year old. So he doesn't quite understand the world as deeply as somebody who's 17 does, but he has this like uninhibited enthusiasm for life and sports and all things that are awesome. And so he's an absolute breath of fresh air for me, and he just wants nothing but the best things for everyone in his life. And he will unconditionally support me and anybody else in his life. So absolute breath of fresh air. And then my dad as well, watching him race growing up, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. He's by far the biggest inspiration that I've had to keep going. And he's been my biggest supporter throughout, whether it means being in the pit crew or just helping me train, bringing bottles on training rides or training with me. I don't know what to say other than I appreciate all of your support and all of the nice things that you guys have said, but it wouldn't be possible without all of the support from people like Mud, Sweat, and Gears and my family, and my friends and work colleagues. So, and for next steps, I don't know exactly what it is for racing. I'm finishing grad school right now, so I just finished my master's on Friday, actually, and I start med school in a week and a half. So, yeah, I don't know how riding is going to fit into all of this, but I know that it is going to fit into all of this. There's no way I'm giving it up. As far as racing goes, my big overarching goal, it wouldn't be next year, it'd probably be the year after, is 24-hour World Championships. There are rumors that they're coming to Canada, specifically to Canmore. And if they do, you can bet I'll be there. So yeah, that's probably the biggest next step for me. Is that 24-hour Worlds, but otherwise it's a bit up in the air.